right, we're doing a sound check, sound check. Can you hear me? Okay, good morning. We are going to go ahead and get started on our Friday morning community yoga practice. Hopefully you guys got to say hi at the beginning of practice, and you can say hi as well at the end. All right, we're going to take a comfortable seat, and so you could be on the floor or you could be up on a chair. Anything that allows you to keep an upright posture. So the hips will tip a little forward, shoulders drawing up away from the ears. Do that again. Inhale, shoulders up. Exhale, shoulders down the back. And again, inhale, shoulders up. Exhale, shoulders down the back, keeping the chest lifted. We'll drop the nose toward the floor. Eyes can be closed or soft. Just dropping into an awareness of the breath and the body. Try to quiet the thoughts of the mind so you can really sense into the body. What's going on today? And if you haven't already done so, starting to lengthen the breath. So really starting to extend the inhale and the exhale. And at the end of the exhale, pulling the belly in, squeezing out that last little bit before beginning the inhale. And as you sense through the body, maybe we start to identify aspects that we like to work on during the practice today. There might be a physical sensation, might be an emotional state, an energy level. Just observing what we might want to shift or change, and then start to move toward that with the awareness, with your intention. What would that new state feel like? And if there isn't anything that we really want to change today, maybe we notice instead aspects that we'd like to maintain. Noticing what they feel like, where they reside in the body. What are the sensations around those observations? Where is that? And anytime throughout the practice, we can come back to these intentions, the intention to maintain or the intention to grow or change, or maybe a combination of both. Take a couple more deep inhales and slow, steady exhale, squeezing at the end of the exhale. And on your next inhale, slowly open the eyes and come back into the space. All right, let's start with the side bend. Left hand down, could be on the chair or the floor. Right arm up and over. On the inhale, we'll come up and over to the other side. On inhale, we'll come one up from there. Let's take the hands back behind you. Could be holding the chair or down on the floor. Draw the shoulders back and down, lift the chest up toward the ceiling. So you could lift straight up here, or you could tip the pelvic bone forward and lean backwards, starting to open into a back bend. You might look up toward the ceiling, you might look behind. Maybe the neck doesn't want that, maybe just look straight ahead. It's noticing if you feel one side, one shoulder might be different than the other. So try to draw them evenly down the back. And on an inhale, we'll come on back up. I'm going to bring the hands together, interlace the fingers. Press the hands forward and then up and over the head. So we're trying to keep the elbow straight. Again, try to keep the shoulders relaxed down. We don't want to be squeezing the head. If you can, you're going to try to bring your hands in line with the head and the hips. And we'll bring the hands back down. We're going to change the interlace of the fingers, so other pinky finger on the bottom. And press the hands forward and up and over the head. And we'll bring the hands back down. Let's take a turn. We'll turn around the spine to the left. And Now inhale back through center and exhale other side, trying to keep that length in the spine. Inhale and come back to center. If you're on the floor, we're going to extend the left leg long, and we're going to try to bring the foot of the ankle of the right leg up onto your thigh. You can hold that here with the hands, or if it'll stay, you'll take the hands back. Now, if you're in a chair, you're going to try and do the same thing. You're going to keep your right or your left leg down. You're going to try to bring your right foot up onto your thigh. And if that doesn't work, just not going to work today, then cross at the ankles or the shins, keeping the left or the right leg in front here. So either here or here, and either on the floor or in the chair. I'm going to take the hands back by the hips. And so even if that leg is straight out on the floor, I'm going to hinge at the hips and come forward with the chest. Just however far we want to come forward today, just breathing. Just let that knee do what it will. Don't try to push it down. Now, if you need to hold the leg, if it's not going to stay, of course you could do that with the hands. You don't have to have your hands back by the hips if the foot is moving. Now, if you can easily keep your shoulders back and you're on the floor, and you've got that leg extended, you can go ahead and release the hands forward. I'm just making sure that the shoulders don't run up by the ears. I'm going to inhale, we'll come on and back up from there. We're going to take a turn. So here we're going to take the left hand to the outside of the knee. Your right hand could be on the floor to help support. We're going to twist, draw that right shoulder back and turning. On an inhale, we'll come on back to center. We're going to switch legs. Again, if you're on the floor now, you're going to extend the right leg long. You're going to pick up the left foot and draw it in. See if you can bring the ankle to the thigh or the knee. And if you're on the floor, just doing that. And you might need to hold the leg. If you don't need to hold the leg, you can take the hands back by the hips, getting some length here. Shoulders back. When you're ready, come on forward on this side. Maybe different. Inhale, we'll come on up, and then we'll come into our twist. So we'll drop that right arm to the outside of the knee. Your left hand can scoop back behind or on the chair, and twisting, turning to the left. And inhale and unwind. So we're gonna work our way up to standing. So you're on the floor, we're gonna come all the way up. If you're on a chair, we'll come up and clear your mat. I'm gonna try to get moving, get some energy in the body. And work our way into standing in Tadasana, mountain pose. I'm gonna try to line up the feet so that the outsides are parallel. Try to find just what's your natural balance point. So it means let's lean a little forward, a little back. Where is the center of the feet? So if you lean forward, then lean back, you feel heel toe. Finding that place in the middle between the heel and the toe. And then notice what your ankles are doing. See if you're heavier in your pinky toes, or if you're heavier in your big toes, or maybe it's one each. If we can try to balance left to right, pinky toe, big toe side, or center of the foot. See what that does in the ankles. And then toning the muscles of the legs pulling up into your core. So it's almost like you're pushing your feet down. Try to push the feet into the floor, toning the muscles of the legs and supporting the knee joints and the hip joints. I'm going to tone all around the front and back sides of the legs. Like you're pushing. I'm going to push my feet further into the floor. So noticing what that does in the body. Toes actually need to give it a little more. There we go. And then tailbone is straight down toward the floor between the feet, abdominals in. So you're going to feel a lengthening pulling up in the spine from there. And then shoulders back and down. So not arching the back, we're not coming into a back bend. And it's not military style. No, it's just a little bit back, hands soft. And notice the chin. Try to bring the chin back parallel to the floor. And then slide the ears back in line with the shoulders. Just noticing how this feels in the body. Then we take the palms out and try to keep all of that in the body, connection with the feet. I'm going to bring the hands out to the side. Slowly start to bring them up in line with the shoulders. And pause here. So notice if your balance changed. Reconnecting with feet, with legs, abdominals, chest, the breath. And then we'll keep moving the arms. Finally pausing about shoulder width apart. Shoulders down the back. If you feel strong here, try to look up toward the ceiling. Still maintain the connection with the feet, with the legs, rooting into the earth, but now maybe starting to look up between the hands. And I'll bring the gaze back down to center. I'm going to bring the palms together, cross the thumbs, come into crescent pose to the right. So root into your left foot and tip down, shoulders stay in line. Try to not swing one further than the other. On an inhale, we'll come back up to center. We'll change the cross of the thumbs. And crescent pose, other side. So I'm going to root into your right foot and extend. And inhale, we'll come back up to center. And now release the hands to the lower lumbar spine. So fingers on either side. We come into a back bend. So from here, take the tailbone forward and lift the chest and bend as much as you want. And you might just be going straight up, and that's okay too. If the more you come back, the more the tailbone needs to come forward and the leg muscles need to engage to hold you. And using your abdominals, pulling in, I'm going to come on back up. And now reverse Uttanasana, standing forward bend. So as you come down, legs support and lift the tailbone up. As you drop down, now your hands could come to the seat of a chair. It could come to blocks. And it might be on the floor. It could also be on your shins. Just make sure that you're not locking your knees. I'm going to try to keep a little bit of a bend there and lift the tailbone up toward the ceiling. Legs are working. Upper body can soften from here. Your head can hang. And check in with your balance. So from your heels to your toes, see if you can balance between there. So that means the hips, if they're too far back, you're going to be heavy in your heels. And if they're too far forward, you're heavy in the toes. So finding that right in the middle. Then we'll take a slight bend in these abdominals in. We're going to roll our way ragdoll style back up to standing. So breathing, breathing, breathing. As we come back up, we'll draw the shoulders back. And we'll take the hands to the hips. Now I'm going to bend the knees on an exhale. So on an exhale, bend the knees to come down. Inhale, push into the feet, come back up. Exhale, bend the knees, come down, maybe a quarter of an inch lower than last time. Inhale, push into the feet, come up. Exhale and come down, quarter of an inch lower than last time. Inhale, push in the feet, come up. And the last one, exhale, quarter of an inch lower. Keep the breath flowing and hold. Chair pose. We're going to take the tailbone toward the floor, abdominal support, shoulders back. And if you want, arms up and over the head, chair pose. So the knees are bent and they're still hip distance apart. They're not coming together here. Checking in with your feet. See if you can really feel the earth underneath. See if you can balance across the whole foot. Use the feet muscles. On an inhale, I'm going to push from the feet, come on up, and release the arms. Good. Let's work into a warrior one, right foot forward. So I'm going to take a step forward here. See if I can bring my camera down. Maybe not today. All right, so you're going to be taking a right step forward, left foot back, square the hips toward what's in front of you. So squaring here, bending your front knee right over your ankle, tailbone down toward the floor. That lengthens the back, keep the chest lifted, arms up. Virabhadrasana 1, warrior 1. And try to balance between your feet. So really connecting feet with the floor, strong in the legs. Just breathing here, breathing through the feet. I know it sounds weird. Try to breathe into the earth, with the earth. And then rooting into your back foot, we're going to lean forward with the chest. Now, if the shoulders don't like this, drop the hands to the hips. Just going to breathe here, slightly leaning forward, rooting into that back foot. Both legs are strong. All right, inhale, I'm going to lift the chest, maybe coming back into that warrior 1. Now release the arms and set the feet together. So hopefully you feel that on those legs. I'm going to come to the other side. So we're going to take, when you're ready, take your left foot forward, right foot back. Remember, square the hips toward what's in front. Your toes of your back foot are a little bit in to help you get that wrap around. Front knee bends, back leg straight, tailbone straight down between the feet. And arms up when you're ready. Warrior 1 on this side. So we're connecting the feet to the earth. So really using feet muscles, using leg muscles, toning into the core, breathing. And then rooting into your back foot, we're going to lean forward. And again, you could keep your arms over your head, but if the shoulders don't like that, bring the hands to the hips. So legs are strong, legs are supporting. We're breathing. On an inhale, we'll come on back up, maybe coming back into that warrior 1. And release. And step the feet together. Good work. We're going to work our way into a supported warrior 3. There's a bunch of options for this. So one is you can use the seat of a chair, in which case you're going to be facing the chair. We're going to come down with hands on the chair, and then going to be lifting one leg back behind. Option 2, you can do the same thing using blocks if you've done this before and you know you can come lower, in which case you'll have to drop down, hands on the blocks, rooting in your standing foot, lifting your back leg. Now, some of you have done this many times and could possibly bring your hands to the floor and lift the back leg. So it doesn't really matter which one we're going to do. I'll talk you through it. So I'm going to set up whatever setup you're going to use. If you've never done it, you can use the chair. I'm going to start with the right foot as your standing leg. I'm going to plant that right foot, connecting the whole foot with the floor, toning the muscles of the legs. And just like when we did in Tadasana Mountain Pose, you're going to be pushing down in the floor, like you're trying to make a hole in the floor. You're going to keep that kind of, that tone. And then we'll hinge at the hips to bring the hands down to your support. Keep pushing in your right foot. Keep the tone around your ankles and your knees particularly. Don't lock any joint. Pull the abdominals in to support. And then lift the left leg straight back behind. Try to kick back into your heel. Try to straighten the knee. We're going to keep the hips level with the floor. We're not rotating out. That's a different pose. We're going to rotate down. So toes of your left foot will be toward the floor. Actively pushing in your right foot and extending to the top of your head. So we're not going to sink in the back. We're going to use those abdominals to support and lengthen. Now, if you're feeling strong here and you want, you could take a hand off of your support and extend it forward. Just an option. You don't have to. So make sure you don't lock the knee on that right side. So if it's starting to lock, tone the muscles around the knee, pushing in the floor. The hips are right over the right foot. Breathing here. Then we'll bring that left foot back down. Take a slight bend in the knees and come on up. And let's twist around the spine. And coming back to center. So we'll try the other side. Just going to plant that left foot nice and strong, pushing down into the floor. Lean forward, bring your hands to your support. Keeping the tone of the muscles of the left leg pushing down, and lift the right leg straight back behind. And again, don't rotate the hips. The hip bones are pointing straight down toward the floor. Push back into your heel of the back leg. Try to lengthen and straighten that leg. And then don't let the back collapse here. So trying to support with abdominals. So it's like you're standing almost on that foot that's behind, the right foot. Like if you were standing, what would that be like? Now try to keep your hips over your left foot. So not too far in the toes or the heel, right in the center. An option here, if you want, you can take a hand off and extend the arm by the ear, or keep both hands down. Just breathing, actively pushing into the floor with the left leg. And then we'll bring that foot back down to the earth. Take a deep bend of the knees to come on up. And let's twist again. Releasing back. And then coming back to center. We're going to do a little balancing. So I'm going to work on tree pose. So you could use the back of your chair. If you have one of these chairs, you could just flip it around. You could also use a piece of furniture to help out. I'm going to start standing on the right leg. So just like we just did in our warrior 3, we're going to push that foot into the floor, tone the muscles of the right leg. You could have your hand on your support. Going to start to lift the left foot. So to start, you might just lift the knee. You can do that. Try taking the knee out to the side and bring the foot somewhere on your standing leg. Now maybe toes touching the floor. Maybe that's what we're doing today. Maybe the foot's on the shin. Maybe you can bring the foot up to the inner thigh, just not on the knee. Actively pushing down with the right foot. And your hands could be anywhere. They could be the hips, heart, your head. Find your challenge place. Keeping the breath flowing, gaze soft. Focus on what we're doing. And we'll come on out with control on that side. Okay, I'm going to switch to the other side. So if you used a chair, you could swap it around, or maybe just turn it around so that you have support on that side. Left foot roots into the floor, left leg is the standing leg, toning the muscles there. Keep that tone. Right foot comes up. Any version of your tree pose. Again, hands anywhere. Gaze is soft, breath is flowing. And then we'll come on out with control. Good. We're going to work our way down onto the floor. So you can clear your mats of anything that you may be in the way. And I'm slowly going to work our way down. I'm going to grab a hold of a blanket, just the blanket, and we're going to sit on the end of the blanket and extend the legs long. So I'm just going to see if I can bring my camera down. There we go. All right. So let's start in staff pose. So the legs are extended, feet are hip distance apart, toes up toward the ceiling. We'll bring the hands back by the hips and lengthen up to the top of the head. So really feeling like the abdominals are pulling in. You're trying to balance something on the top of your head. I'm going to keep all of that from waist up here and hinge at the hips to come forward. So it's like you're pushing a button with your head. Try to keep your toes up, so don't let the feet flop. Shoulders are back away from the ears. You can keep those shoulders back. You might release the hands. Just get a forward bend. So it's all about lengthening. Lengthening from tailbone on the top of the head, length in the legs, particularly from your heels to the tailbone. On an inhale, we'll come on back up. I'm going to take this left leg out to the side. And I'm going to bend the knee of the right side, draw the foot in. So again, you want to be on the edge of your blanket so that you can feel the pelvic bone tip forward, and that helps you to keep some length here. Then from here, I'm going to take the left hand down the length of the leg, starting to drop that shoulder down on that side. The other hand could come to your hip and draw the right shoulder back. So I'm going to start to open the chest toward the ceiling. You could stay here, or you could lift that right hand, maybe up and over your head. Just make sure you're not rounding the shoulder to get there. And maybe that arm comes all the way over your head, palm toward the floor. So any one of those positions, the position of the right hand isn't so important. We're really working on a side body lengthening here. On an inhale, we're going to come on back up from that side. Keep the legs where they are. Notice your knees. You're going to come straight forward between the knees. So walk the hands forward here. Try to keep the shoulders back. Try to lengthen and try to keep those sit bones down. So if one side's popping up, see if we can root it down. You can come forward as much as you want. You might be able to drop down onto your elbows. If that's the case, go ahead and start to take your nose to the floor. It doesn't matter where we go here, just that we feel something in the hips, that we are present and aware of what's going on in the body. So you can use your breath here to finding where do you have the strongest sensations. Can you breathe into those places and really explore? Keep that open awareness. Just exploring what is. On, inhale, come on up from there. I'm going to switch to the other side. So I'm going to extend out the right leg and draw the left leg in. And then still on the edge of the blanket here, we're going to take the right hand down the length of the leg, left hand on your hip. Draw the shoulder back, starting to open the chest toward the ceiling. Again, you could keep that hand on your hip, or if you keep the shoulder back, it's kind of free. It can go wherever it wants to go. On an inhale, we'll come on back up from there. And then straight forward between the two knees. We're going to come forward here, trying to keep those sit bones down. I'm trying to keep the shoulders from rounding, drawing down the back. And then on an inhale, we'll walk the hands back in and come on up. I'm going to release the legs. You can bend the knees, draw the legs in. We're going to work our way onto the back. So you're going to come off of your blanket. I'm going to be flat on the back with the knees bent, feet on the floor. So once you're here, I'm going to take the feet about mat width apart, drop the knees together so they can rest. I'm going to bring your hands to your belly. Let's breathe into the belly. See if you can make the belly rise and fall. Soften your eyes. And then release the hands. We're going to separate the knees and pick the feet up off the floor. Draw your knees in closer. We're going to take the hands to the knees. So if the elbows are straight, then the knees are far away. And then if we bend the elbows, we can pull the knees in closer. And then we'll straighten the elbows. Inhale, straighten the elbows. Exhale, we're going to pull the knees in. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, pull the knees in. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, pull the knees in. Now I'm going to take both knees to the right side. So you're going to roll onto the right, just a little bit on the right side, and then push the knees away. Roll over to the left side and pull the knees in. So now I'm going to start to make a circle. So I'm going to roll to the right side with the knees in, push the knees away, roll to the left side with the knees out, and pull the knees in. So circling here. And then we're going to pause where you are, and we're going to reverse the motion. So we're pushing the knees out on the left side, holding them out, pulling the knees in on the right side, holding them in. Circling the other way. And then we'll come back to center. I'm going to release the hands, bring the feet back down to the floor. And extend your right leg long on the floor. Pick up your left foot and place it on the right thigh. Take the right hand to the left knee and then roll out to the right side. So we just have to drop that knee toward the floor. Open the chest toward the ceiling and drop your left shoulder down the floor, twisting the body. Now the head is free. You can look at any direction that works. Enjoying the twist here. And then on an inhale, we'll release, coming back to center. I'm going to switch sides. You can extend your left leg long. Right foot on the left thigh. Left hand grabs a hold of the knee, and then cross the knee all the way across the body to the left, rolling onto your outer left hip. Right shoulder stays down, chest opens toward the ceiling, and a twist in the body. We'll unwind the twist, coming back to center. We're going to work our way here. So we're going to bend the knees. We're going to roll onto one side. And taking your time, we're slowly going to work our way back up to sitting. So you might come back onto your blanket. Be comfortable seated position. And have the hands on thighs, shoulders back. Drop the nose slightly toward the floor. Soften the eyes or close them. Observe the breath. Starting to connect once again with the inner body, your inner state. How is it now as compared to the beginning of practice? Do you remember that intention that you may have set at the beginning of practice? How are those places in the body doing now? And on your next inhale, I'm going to take a nice deep inhale, your fullest inhale that you can, and then hold the breath in. Top of the inhale, we're holding the breath, we're feeling the pressure in the lungs. And then exhale, slowly, smoothly, steady exhale. The end of the exhale, squeeze the belly in, holding the exhale out of the body. And then let the inhale come naturally, back to your natural breath. Now, one more time. Inhaling deeply, your biggest, fullest inhale. At the top of the inhale, retain the breath. Feeling the pressure in the lungs. Maybe keep getting little sips more of the inhale. On the exhale now, exhaling completely, smoothly, steady exhale, squeezing at the end of the exhale, holding the exhale out of the body. And then let the natural inhale come back. Returning to the natural breath. Observing the body. Bring the hands together at the heart. A gesture of grace and gratitude. Thank you all for joining and for sharing this Friday morning practice together. I hope you have a chance to say hi to each other. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Namaste.